Right now, Sicily is glowing under the weight of an ancient fire that refuses to go out. Mount Etna has been erupting since the first day of the year, sending a river of molten rock carving through the landscape. But as we stand here today, the real story isn't just about lava racing towards civilization. The main flow has stretched over 2 miles long, winding its way down to a desolate, uninhabited basin known as the Valle del Bove. For now, the lava is trapped in this natural desert of old volcanic fields and cliffs, standing still at its lowest points and cooling into a dark, rocky crust. There are no homes in its path and no villages under direct threat. Yet even as the science tells us the eruption is stable and confined, a different kind of crisis is exploding at the base of the mountain. A rare, intense conflict has broken out between those who manage the volcano and those who have spent their lives walking its slopes. While the lava flow remained confined to the valley, the world surrounding the mountaintop had been placed under a new and extremely strict order. Local authorities in Catania and surrounding towns have shifted from monitoring the volcano to enforcing a strict lockdown on all human activity. All popular night tours, which are a highlight for thousands of tourists wanting to admire the Earth's brilliant lights, have been suspended indefinitely. There is currently no legal way to witness the fire after sunset. Even with the most experienced guides by your side, a new rigid safety buffer zone at 200 meters has been established around the active flow, replacing the flexible judgments that guides previously relied on. Now, the law is simple and fixed. Tour groups are strictly limited to 10 people, and the mountain's tranquility is broken by the buzzing of drones. These eyes in the sky are monitoring every slope in real time, ensuring that no one crosses the boundaries or exceeds the prescribed number. Routes that were once part of daily routines have been narrowed or completely closed, transforming a majestic natural event into a tightly controlled zone where every step is measured by a municipal office. This is no longer just about the risk of an eruption. It was a battle over who controlled the mountain. As the shadow of the law fell over the mountain, the first real pushback did not come from the tourists, but from the men and women who know Etna best. For the first time in nearly half a century, the certified volcano guides have laid down their gear in a rare and desperate strike. Instead of leading the way up the smoking slopes, they have gathered at the mountain's gates, holding signs and pleading their case to the world's cameras. These are experts who have spent their lives breathing the ash and studying the flow of the fire. To them, these new, rigid barriers feel like a betrayal of their professional trust. They argue that while the volcano is never harmless, their years of trained judgment are being replaced by blanket bans, decided in distant municipal offices. By outlawing night tours and enforcing static safety zones, officials are stripping away the very expertise that makes a visit to Etna both safe and spectacular. In their eyes, the mountain is being turned into a distant museum, and they're being sidelined at the exact moment the world is watching. In the heart of this storm of logic and law stands the National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology, the scientific soul of the mountain. But in the last 24 hours, even the experts have been pulled into the crossfire. The president of the institute was forced to issue a formal statement, drawing a sharp line between official science and the personal opinions of its most famous researchers. This clarification came after individual comments about the safety bans were used to fuel the public debate, creating a dangerous confusion about who truly speaks for the mountain. The institute is firm. Their job is to measure the heat and map the flow, but they do not write the laws that govern the streets. While their data shows an eruption that is stable, slow, and confined within the desolate valley, it is the local authorities who must transform those numbers into strict ordinances that can be defended in court. It is a high-stakes balance where public safety is the ultimate priority, even when it means silencing the very voices that know the volcano best. To truly understand the weight of these restrictions, we have to look at what the Earth itself is doing deep beneath the surface. The current eruption is classified as effusive, meaning the mountain is breathing fire at a slow and deliberate pace. From a vent positioned high on the eastern flank, a river of molten rock has carved a jagged path over 2 miles long. It sits today in the uninhabited Valle del Bove, its leading edge cooling into a dark crust nearly 4,500 feet above the sea. Scientists confirm that the lava front is currently standing still, no longer advancing toward the towns and villages that sit nervously on the lower slopes. For now, the natural basin of the valley is acting as a massive storage tank, holding the fire back from the people. But history tells us that stability on an active volcano is a fragile illusion. If the rate of eruption increases, or if the vent moves to a different part of the slope, the entire direction of the threat could shift in an instant. This is the silent data that fuels the strict rules on the ground, the knowledge that what is stable today can become a crisis by tomorrow. To a scientist, the word stable is a relief, but to those responsible for public safety, it is a nightmare of perception. When the public hears that the lava is confined, they assume the danger has evaporated. Yet the reality on Etna is that a volcano is never truly at rest. Even in an eruption as slow as this one, the conditions can shift faster than a news cycle can update. A tiny increase in the rate of fire from the earth can send the lava surging over its own crust, making the flow mobile and thick once again. New cracks can split the mountainside open at any altitude, and sudden plumes of toxic gas or steam can blind even the most experienced guides in seconds. This is precisely why the authorities have chosen rules that are simple and unyielding. A fixed 200-meter buffer is much easier to enforce than a moving line that changes with the wind. By banning night tours, they remove the lethal complications of darkness and unpredictable weather after sunset. From the outside, it may look like an overreaction to a slow glowing flow in an empty valley. But from a management perspective, these strict boundaries are the only way to ensure that a stable eruption does not transform into a desperate search and rescue operation. As the lava continues to pool in the silent reaches of the Valle del Bove, Mount Etna remains a vivid reminder of the fragile peace we negotiate with the earth. The main flow is currently 2 miles long, with its front cooling and standing still nearly 4,500 feet above the sea. While the science confirms this phase is stable and confined, the human story on the ground is anything but. For now, there are no homes in the path of the fire and no villages under direct threat. Yet the conflict between rigid laws and professional expertise continues to smolder at the base of the volcano. Authorities remain committed to their drones and strict daytime bans, while the guides insist that true safety requires human judgment, not just municipal lines in the sand. This eruption proves that managing a disaster is not only about tracking the movement of molten rock, but about deciding how we live alongside a power we can never truly control. We will keep monitoring every shift in the mountain's behavior and every update to the rules that govern its slopes. If this report helped you understand the complex balance of life on an active volcano, subscribe to Disaster Alert Network and turn on your notifications. Tell us in the comments, do you believe these safety rules are a necessary shield or an unfair burden on those who know the mountain best?